Hello, good evening, everybody. It's 5:30 p.m. here in India. Greetings from India. and I'm Women International Master Rucha Pujari, and today I'm a guest on Lee Chess channel, and I will be solving puzzles today with the chat. So this is a training stream today. Okay, so I will be solving puzzles on Lee Chess, and today I have selected a specific theme, that is a mating force. Hello everybody. So we will be solving together mating for puzzles today. So if you find answers, you can tell them in the chat. If you have any questions to ask me about training in general, go ahead and I will try to answer you. Okay, so let's begin. And you can see the puzzle rating here. It's 3200 right now. Yes, I think let's start. So knight h5 check is suggested. So knight h5, white has two moves, king h4 and rook h5. So if king goes to h4, we have bishop g5 is mate. So knight h5, rook h5, then bishop f4 check, king h4, rook h2 check, bishop h3, and rook h3 is mate. Okay, let's go. Okay, well done. And let's select next puzzle automatically. Hello player, welcome. So this is a very common theme in mating for puzzles. So first go find the checks possible. So we can see we have rook g7 check here, and the king has only one move, king h8, and here we need to find the best check. And if we play anywhere else like this or this, black can just block it by playing e5 and f6, and there will be no mating for. So we have to find a double check, and that is rook g8 check. And whenever there is a double check like this, your opponent has only one way to defend from it, and that is to move the king. And here we have rook g1 check, followed by rook g2 is mate. Hello Tom, nice to see you. Join us. So what do we have here? We have queen h4 check, king goes to g7. Rook e6 check is suggested. So yes, if we start with queen h4, after that king goes to g7 and the king escapes. So let's try rook e6 check. So black has to play fe6, then we have queen g6 check, king e7, and then we have queen g7 check, king e8, and bishop g6 will be made. Hello YouTube. Okay, so rook e6 is the beginning. Rook e6, fe6, queen g6 check, king e7, and not this move because king goes to f8 and there is no mate next move. So queen g7, king e8, and bishop g6 is mate. No, I'm not taking any challenges today. This is a training stream for puzzles. So white is threatening a mate in 1 here. Queen b7 is a mate. So whenever there is a threat like this, in this case white is threatening a mate in 1, even queen c7 is a mate in 1. So our all moves have to be forced. All moves have to be check. So thinking about that, I see this check or this check as the beginning. With knight g4 check, there is king d3, and I don't see how to continue after that. So let's consider bishop takes f4 check. Now white has two responses. No, only one response, sorry. White has only one response, that is king takes bishop. Then do you see the checkmate after that? Yes, bishop f4, king f4 after that. After that we have a lot of choices. This looks tough. Maybe bishop f4, king f4, queen h2. Okay, so now king goes to e3. Bishop f4, king f4, knight g4. Okay, queen g4, king e3. I don't understand, sorry, the notation. Yeah, this looks tough. Bishop f4, king f4, rook f8, king e3, knight g4, king d3, and f2. But where is the check after that? So these are all made in 4 puzzles. King f4, knight h3 check, king goes to e3 again. Oh, then we have queen f2. I think Juan, you are right. So bishop f4 check, king f4, and then knight h3 check. This looks interesting. So that we get f2 square for the queen. Now if the king goes to e3, queen f2 check, and then if the king goes to d3, we have knight f4 is made. Okay, so bishop f4, king f4, knight h3, and what are the options for white? If the king goes to e5 or f5, queen g5 is made. Well done, JUEE. This move was very important and difficult to find. Knight h3. Queen f2 check, and we needed this square for the queen, and then knight f4 is made. Yes. So queen h5 check. If king goes to d8, we have knight e6 mate. So if king goes to f8, we have queen f7 mate. And after queen h5, g6, bishop g6, king f8, we have queen h6 check, king g8, and bishop f7 will be made. Yes, go, go, go. Hello, Nisha. So check, a g6, bishop g6. And here we have to take this pawn to be able to mate in 4. And knight e6. Wow, look at this position. Very crazy. So again, black is threatening some mates. So if this was black to move, black will play moves like knight f4, discover check on the king, king g1, and rook h1 is mate. So again, we have to find forcing lines. So we have bishop d5 check, this pawn check, and rook b6 check. These are our options. Hello, Joe. Bishop d5 and queen b6. So Tarun says bishop d5, and black has only one move, rook d5, and then queen b6 check, and then knight c6, queen c6, rook d6, and queen d6. Well done. That's it. And the rook on 7th file is so strong, controlling the king going back to the 7th rank. Takes and mate. Hello, Sir Zoki. Hello, fighting in 64 square. So we have different discover checks here. Hello, future world chess champion. Good luck to you, to your chess career. Knight f6, then black plays king g7. Then we have rook h7 check, king f8. After that, we have to prepare check with first move queen g6. Yes, sometimes it can be also slow moves and not a check every time. Oh, hello Tim, Splendor is here, welcome. So first let's think about the discovered checks, which are possible here. So there is knight f6, but after king g7, rook h7, king f8. The problem with queen g6 is that I think black can play rook h7 and defend. Then queen g7. Wow, I really missed this move. This is really amazing. Queen g6, rook h7 and queen g7. Brilliant move. And then if rook takes g7, we have knight f6 check, rook h7 and rook h7 is mate. This is really great stuff. Because I see that there is no way to work out the discovered checks, because even if we start with a check like this, the king does not have to go to g7. Black can go king even g8 or even rook h7 in that case. Yes, queen g6 looks very strong move now. So queen g6 with the idea knight discover check. And let's say if black plays queen g8 there. So let's say queen g8 and then we have knight g7 check, of course, if queen g8. Let's go for it. This was really great. GG in finding the move queen g7. Thanks for the follow, Sage Brown Butter. Yes, we are going high with 3200 rating. Okay, so again white is threatening some checks here, so we have to go for checks and forcing line. So we have knight e2, knight h3 and bishop d4 check. You get no points if you pick the theme yourself. Well, this theme can be quite easy for such a high rating, that's why it takes time to win the points. Now those are all my trophies behind. Knight h3, king g2 and rook e2. Okay, let's see this line. Knight h3, so white has a king g2 and king h1. So if king g2, rook e2 check, rook f2, rook takes f2, rook king h3 and rook h2 is mate. So after knight h3, let's say king h1, then rook f1, king g2, and still we have rook f2 check followed by rook h2 mate. Well done, Tarun. Hello QSO, welcome to the stream. So black is threatening queen f1 mate. So I always start with looking at the positions, what is the opponent's threat, so that it gives me a hint what to look out for. So when there is a threat on us, we have to find forcing lines. So let's see, queen g7, king e8, queen g8 check. Now black has two options, king d7 or king e7. So if king d7 we have queen e6, king d8 and bishop g5 is mate. And if king goes to e7, we still have the same idea, of course. So check, queen g8. And the queen will control the light squares and the bishop will control the dark squares. This is very beautiful, mate. So the king is smothered between the rooks, and this will be knight f3, gf3, queen f1, and bishop h3 mate. So knight f3, queen f1, bishop h3 check, and in the end we have back rank mate. Rook e1 is the back rank mate. Mind games are always interesting because it's about finding the mating idea, mating pattern in this. Do you have an ultimate rating goal with the puzzles? Well, initially the goal was to reach 3000, but now it's just to go up. I love your threat. Rook h2, king g4. And f5, yes. So rook h2, king g4, we have f5 move check. And if king g5, we have rook h5 mate. And if king f3, the idea is to play here rook a3. And that is the mate in the end. So rook h2 check, king g4, and not this move because then the king goes to g5 and escapes to h6. So f5 check and rook a3 and rook c3. We need new emote for that. So knight e5 or knight g5. I feel knight e5 to control g6 square. So knight e5 check. And then the queen, it depends on black's move actually. So if king goes to e8, queen h5 is a very strong check. If king goes to e7, we have knight a d5 check. And if king goes to e6, we have queen g4 check. Thanks for the follow. Yes, knight e5 check. And here not pawn d5 because then king takes the knight. So queen g4, king e7, knight d5 check. But 1 second. Yeah, queen h5 is the mate of course in the end. Queen g4 check, knight d5 and queen h5. This is a very beautiful idea. So it takes, queen takes, a knight g6 check, hg6, rook h3 check, knight h6. Oof, knight h6 and rook h6 is mate. Yes, queen h5 in the end. And you see that the queen is pinned, so the queen can't move. And then we just play rook h6 and it's a mate because g8 is controlled by the bishop. This is the typical pattern that we already saw before. We start with rook g7 and then we have to find a double check here. So rook g8 check and rook g1. Tell us now. Okay, so we have bishop f8 check and we have many discovered checks here, but I'm trying to control g7. So bishop f8 check, king g8, then we have queen g6 check, then king takes f8 and here queen f6 check, queen f7 and rook h8 is mate. Queen g6, queen f6, and whenever we are looking for checkmates, First, look at the escape squares for the king. So in this game, the king is trying to escape from e7 and d8. So we have to stop that, and that is by queen f6 and rook h8. Yes, it's very nice music, isn't it? This is also very pretty puzzle. I will wait for somebody to find it. Queen h8, king g6. Queen h5, excellent pro ninja. So look at this beautiful line. So we start with queen h8 check, king g6, and queen h5. And here we have rook h8 check, king g6, and in the end h5 is made. Thank you, Fredo. Hello, Diaz. Thank you, Era Nihil. Yes, rook d6. So rook d6 check, king d6, queen b6 check. So if knight goes to c6, we have queen c7 mate. So after queen b6, king will go to e5. Then we have queen c5 check, then king takes e4 and queen d4 is made. Let's go. Rook d6, king takes b6. And here not queen c7 because then king takes e4 and runs away. So queen takes c5 and queen d4 in the end. Why you always do mate in 4? Well, not all the time. We also do mixed puzzles. Yes, you can ask. a7, king a7. And then now, which piece? Okay, rook can't move to a4 anyway, because bishop is controlling that square. So we have to play queen a2 check. Queen a2 check, bishop a4, queen a4, king b8, and queen a8 is the mate. Thank you, bishop. a7 and queen a2. These mate in 4s are really beautiful puzzles. That's why I selected this theme today. When you move your pieces or the opponent moves their pieces, how did you set your setting? Like the squares become blue in color? You mean when I select like this and it shows the dots? Well, you can change that in settings on your account on Lichess. Okay, rook d5, rook d5, then king a4, b3 check, pawn takes b3, then rook e4 check, king a3, and rook a5 will be made. Hello everybody, those who are joining now. Welcome to the stream, and I'm Women International Master Rucha Pujari from India, and today we are having a training stream and solving puzzles together with the chat. Yes, rook d5, let's go. Rook d5, and here b3 check, rook e4 check, and rook a5 is made. So I see only one check in the beginning, that is queen d5. So queen d5, king h7, then we have g6, king g6, queen f7 check, then king h7, but where is the mate? Queen h5 is not a mate after that. Yes, we are solving mating for puzzles today. Thank you, Bishoy. Maybe queen e4 check after that, yes. So queen d5 check, king h7, g6, king g6, and we have to play queen e4 check. And that we have to stop the escape from h7. So after that, bishop f5 and queen f5 is made. Okay, so queen d5, king h7, we found that one. So queen d5 may be first move, bishop b6, queen e6, king h7, and then g6 is made anyway. Alright, we got it. Queen d5, g6, and queen e4. Hello, water power. Knight f5. So for that, black has king g6 and king h5. Is it always a check first? Well, not necessarily. It can be a quiet move also. But first look out for checks in such puzzles. Yes, you can just find it in the settings. I think it is called as animate your squares. Okay, so knight f5, king can go to h5 or g6. If king goes to g6, where is the mate here? I still haven't found it after knight f5. Knight f5, queen g4, then Maybe knight g5 is also possible, right? Knight can block the check. Yes, I'm Indian. Yes, mate in 4. Where is the mate in 4 here? If we start with queen g4, black will just take the knight on e7. After knight blocks h5. Knight f5, then king g6. If king goes to h5, then we have queen e2, king g6, queen g4 check, and if knight g5, h5 is mate. Okay, that's nice. So knight f5, if king goes to g6, we have the same, right? Queen g4. And if king goes to f7, queen g7 is mate. Yes, thank you, James London. Queen e2 check, queen g4 check, and here beautiful h5 mate. Hello, Rishabh. Fat mate. Okay, queen at 6, queen at 6, bishop at 6, rook g8, then king goes to h7. Queen at 6, bishop at 6, rook at 6 is not mate because queen is also defending here. Queen f4, then rook at 6, rook g8, and bishop d3. Let's go. Oh, okay, queens and mate. Okay, so rook d7 here, king d7, then we have bishop e6 check, king d8, queen d6 check, rook d7, and queen d7 is mate. So again, look for escape squares. The king is trying to go to c8, not queen d6 because king goes to c8 and this side. So we stop by playing bishop e6 and then queen d6. Why not the pawn? Then still king d8, and there is no mate. I think I think pawn is also possible. You're right. Pawn e6 is also possible. Good luck, Diaz. So those who are joining now, this is a training series. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I will try to help you. I'm also a chess trainer for last 6-7 years and a verified coach on chess. Knight e6. Well, let me think. Knight e6, and black has a king c4 and king b5. Okay, king c4 we have queen d3 is mate in 1. So knight e6, king has to go to b5. Knight b3, so we have 2 checks to begin with. Also queen a7. Okay, I think it's knight b3. Knight b3, then king b5, we have queen d3 check, king a4, knight c5 check, king a5 and queen a6. Yes, that's it. Queen d3 check, knight c5 check and queen a6 in the end. So now knight f4 or knight h4. Knight f4, of course. So now we have these 2 moves, and the difference is that here if we start with knight h4, then white takes the knight, and if we play here queen h3, there is queen c7, and the queen is defending h2 square. So we play knight f4, and then pawn takes f4, queen h3. So the rook has to move to e1, queen h2 check, king f1 and queen f2 will be mate. GG. Hello, Mikhail. So many GG emotes. It looks like the king is in the corner and mate has to be easy. H4 would be too slow, I think. H4 would be too slow because white has a lot of checks like this, and bishop e5, sorry. Bishop e5 check, rook b7 and so on. So all the moves have to be checked here once again. So now the question is, should we start with this rook or this rook? Okay, so I think it is h rook. So rook h h2 check, king g3. Then we play rook h g2 check. And now the king can't go to h3 because we have this mate. So king has to go to f3. And then we take this pawn check. And the king goes to e file, e3 or e4. And in the end we have rook e2 mate. Rook h2, king g3, rook g2. Yeah, I think that's it. So takes, and this move was important, rook hg2. Yeah, this was nice. Okay, this is pretty easy and repetitive pattern already. G1, G8, G6. I want to improve my skills in chess. What could you do? Well, did you just started playing chess? If you just started playing chess, I would recommend spend a lot of time on studying tactics and improving that, and then slowly learn the other aspects of the game, like some openings and some endgames. Rook g1. So rook g1, king h2, and then we get the rook back again. Rook g2 check, and the king moves and rook h8. Easy. Maybe rook f2 has to be the beginning. Rook f2, king f2, then we have rook b2 check, and rook c2, king f1, and bishop d3 is made. So there are no discovered checks good enough. Rook f2, sacrificing the rook. Another rook joins in on the second rank, rook c2, and we have bishop d3 mate. Yes, GG. Oh, this is very pretty. This is very beautiful mate. So mate in force, I enjoy them very much. So look at this, knight g3. But no, I did not find it actually. I thought I found it, but no. Yes, that was good. Oh yes, okay, it is working, of course. So a knight g3 check, hg3, then we have bishop g2 check, and then next move, king takes g2, queen takes g3, king h1, and queen h3 is made. Hello Shah. This is working. Bishop g2, queen g3, and queen g1. Rook h4 might be quite slow, I guess. I don't know if rook h4, because bishop f6 maybe after that. Thanks for the follow, Fredo Jacko. Rook h4, then bishop f6. I'm thinking about bishop f6 and how to mate after that. For the follow. Potlets, flower. Well, if you want to study tactics, you can use this chess puzzles. It's a very good feature here. I want to learn my first opening. Which one would you recommend for beginners from white and black? Well, go for some solid openings from white and black if you are learning your first opening. And if you want to avoid theory, you can learn some simple openings like the London system, for example. And with black, you can select one line of Sicilian, let's say. Hello, it checks. Rook h4, knight g6, queen h7, king h7, bishop g6, and rook h6. Okay, let's go. Rook h4. GG, James. Well, no check here. Okay, there is g5 check. So g5 check. Why Sicilian and no French? Well, of course you can select French defense. So in the beginning, select one opening that you like or you feel comfortable with and learn that first. So you don't have to learn all the openings in the beginning. Just one or two is enough when you are starting out. Do people memorize entire lines or remember specific ideas? Well, some openings are more like a system where you can understand the ideas and even change the move orders sometimes. And other openings can be more precise in the move orders. But it is very important that you first, no matter which opening you choose, to understand its ideas, what are the basic plans of those openings, and in general, what is your middle game strategy with that opening. So which are the best square for your pieces, and in general, which side do you want to play castling, and so on. So any opening, first learn the ideas of that opening and then go for the specific moves and lines. Okay, g5, then we have king g5, knight e6 check, then king h5, bishop f3 check, king h6, and rook h4 is made. Let's start with g5. Bishop f3 and rook h4. So knight is guarding the important h1 square, the queen is guarding this g7 square. I have been stable around 2100 rapid classical for 1-2 years. What advice would you give to make my next step? Well, if you are stable at any rating, it can be any rating, just try to see that what you can change. Maybe you are spending your time every day on chess, but you are doing the same things every day. So if you're doing the same things, even if you're spending 4 hours on learning chess, it will not help you to improve. So try to mix the things up. If you are working on tactics every day, try to learn about endgames, study the classical games. If you're just playing online, try to analyze your games and study from your own games and mistakes. So at your 2100 rating, I would suggest that study the classic games and also some new openings you can add to your repertoire. Rook h1, knight h1, queen h5, king g8, queen h8, king f7, queen g7, king f8, queen b7. Well, these are all mate in fours, so even winning material will not help. Yes, queen g6, 4-6 mate, you're right. So rook h1 check, and the knight is deflected now, and then we can give queen h5 check, and not queen h8 because king runs away here, so queen g6 and queen g7 mate. GG. Queen f6, gf6, bishop h6, king g8, rook e8, bishop f8 and rook f8. Yes, Elvin, but that was a good beginning. So white is threatening mate in 1, queen d8. And this rook is not defended right now. But what about queen f5 here? What is wrong with queen f5? Okay, e4 I think. E4. So if queen f5 was looking, if king takes rook, we have rook b4 mate. So the defense would be to play e4 after that. Hello Shah, I'm well, thank you. I hope you're doing fine. Rook d4, then queen d4. Hello Donkey, rook c3 check, king c3. Again, those who are joining right now, we are solving exclusively mate in 4 puzzles right now. So it's not about winning material, but finding mate at the 4th move. Rook d4, then queen takes d4. Do you have your YouTube channel? Well, yes, I do have my YouTube channel. It is my name, Rucha Pujari, but I'm a streamer on Twitch. So you can check my streams on Twitch at ruchess27. Oh, okay, so it is actually queen f5. Queen f5 check, e4, and then... Yes, queen f3 check after that, and then king takes c4, then we have rook b4 check, and then king takes c5 and queen c3 is mate. Yes, Rain Cloud, that's right. So we start with queen f5, queen f3, and then rook b4 check and queen c3 in the end is mate. Thank you, Malores. Okay, so this is, I think, the typical mate that we start with queen f7, rook f7, then rook e8 check, rook f8, and then bishop n7, king h8, and back rank mate in the end. Queen f7 check. And we don't start with this move because then king goes to f8. So the move order is important here. Rook e8, rook f8, bishop h7, and rook f8. Yes, GG Elvin. Rook g7. Because if we start with knight check, let's say knight f6, king h8, there is no check after that. And black is having a lot of material here and checks coming up. So knight f6 does not work, so we start with rook g7 check. And after rook g7 we have knight f6 check, king goes to h8, and then rook c8 check. Rook g8 and rook g8 is made. So check, knight f6, rook c8, and rook g8. Maybe I missed your question, Bishoy. Can you say it again? Hello, Twitch Shorts. And I see you're on YouTube. Similar to other? Oh well, let's see. Rook h2, king g3, then h4 check, king f4. But where is the mate after that? But in this case we don't have rook g2 check, that is the difference, because bishop is guarding g2. Rook d3, king h4. What do you think after king h4? Then rook h2, king g5. f6, then king f4. Well, I'm from India, I'm from Maharashtra state. f6 and king f4 after that. And where is the mate? Because we already played 3 moves. This is all mate in 4 puzzles. So we need to find mate on last move. On 4th move. Rook f3, the bishop is guarding f3 square. King h5, king h6, well then pawn will give check. Yes, I'm a woman international master. How about g5 to stop king h4? Okay, so if we start with g5, white will take this pawn and there is an escape square, I think. Rook d3, then king h4. What after that? What do we do after that? pawn takes g4. Well, this move we did not consider actually. King g4. Maybe f5 check, but still king can go to h3. Rook d3 and f6. Well, then white will start giving checks on c7. Ruslan says rook takes h2, then g5. So rook h2, king g3, g5. And actually, where is the mate here? I don't see it. So let's say white takes this pawn. This is a tough one. Rook d3. But do tell me the next moves, because I still haven't found it. If you find the variation, do tell me the full line so that I can understand you. h4 first. So h4, king takes h4. Rook d3, king h4, rook h2, king g5, f6, king f4. But after f6, king f4, and king goes to e4 anyway after that. This is tricky. What are we missing here? We need some ideas. g5 first. So handsome gig, if g5, let's say white takes h5. Rain Cloud says rook d3, king h4, g5, king g5, f6, and then okay, that is a mate. 1 second. So rook d3 check, king h4, we have g5 check, and then if king takes h5, we have rook h3 check, king g5 and f6 mate. Wow, this is brilliant. Brilliant, Rain Cloud. Or if somebody suggested also, GG. Yes, rook d3 and g5 is really great solving. This is a very important move here, g5. And now king h5, we have rook h3 check and followed by f6. This was definitely a tough one. Well played. Okay, so what do we have here? At least there is no check on white. Maybe d3 is possible check. So we have one check coming up, that is g4. GG. So we have g4 check, and then we need to think about if black takes on g4 or king h4. Knight f4 is also a check. Yes, you're right. So such positions have to be very careful because we don't have much material anyway. f4, you may knight f4, and then g3. Okay, that will be a mate, so black will play here king g5 or king g4. So that is, look at this line, knight f4 check, then after king goes to g4 we have queen takes g6, king takes f4, and a very nice mate will be g3, king e5 and f4, one mate will be very beautiful. Yes, f4 mate, you're right, bouncing cross. Knight f4, and in the end we have f4 mate, so let's go. Knight f4 check, queen g6 check, and a very pretty mate in the end, g3 check, and f4 mate. Wow. Okay, so right now the king has g4 as the escape square. Hello everybody, hello, welcome. h5, then rook g8 check. King h5, then pawn g4 check. Knight g5. Okay, knight g5 looks interesting, let's see. Knight g5, if king goes to h4 we have rook h2 check, king g4, then h5 check, king f4, and rook f2 is made. Yeah, that is it. So we need to control e4 in the end. That is the whole point of this. That from g5 the knight controls e4. So if the king goes here, we still have h5, and the king goes to f4. We have rook if f2 check, and now the knight is controlling this one. Yes, knight g5, well done. Well done, Ronald. So knight g5, king h4, rook h2, king g4, h5, and in the end rook f2. Queen d4. Okay, queen d4. If king goes back to h1, there is rook d1 mate. So queen d4. If bishop e3, we have queen e3, king f1, and rook d1 mate. So queen d4, king f1, we have rook d1. Rook d1, king e2, queen d3 check, and then king f2 and rook f1 is mate, I think. Yes, that's it. So queen d4, king f1, then rook d1 check, king e2, queen d3, and in the end rook f1. GG, Ronald. This is very beautiful. So look, queen e5 check. Now if the king, wait, there is, okay, We have to consider king g8 also. Yes, queen e5, there is king g8. So knight f7, black plays knight f7. I was looking at this line, queen e5. If f6, then I wanted to play knight f7 check, then rook f7, and then queen e8. Knight e6 if king g8, but the problem is that bishop capture g1 is check. So there is no good discovered check. Hello, Dr. Zaishinzek. Yes, but after queen e5, there is king g8. Oh, this is very nice. Look at this. Queen e5, king g8, and then we have bishop f7 check, and then rook takes f7, and then brilliant move, queen h8. Queen h8 check, and then after king h8, knight f7 is made. Wow, this is really beautiful. Hello, not Fisher. Hello, Arun. Yes. King g8, and here we have bishop takes f7 check, and beautiful move, queen h8. And after king h8, knight f7 is made. GG. So rook e1 check, knight f1. Then we have queen g4 check, rook g2. Then rook takes f1 check, king f1, and queen d1 is made. So right now we are live on both YouTube and Twitch Lichess channel. So knight f6 check, king g7, queen g5 check, then king f7, then queen g8 check, king f6, and queen g6 mate. Let's go. And that's only move here. What happened, Ronald? A queen g5 check, queen g8 check, and queen g6. What is your puzzle storm record? I think might be 73 puzzle storm. Okay, queen h8 check, king e7. Then we have rook f7 check, king takes f7. Then rook d7 check, king f6, and in the end queen g7 is made. Okay, this we know. This pattern we know already. We don't have to think about it. Rook g7, rook g8, rook g1, and rook g5. And this is very common pattern now, especially in mating 4. Hello Hassan Chalo. We all like chess. rook g3. So if pawn takes queen g3 and queen g2 is mate, so rook g3, king h1. Hello, Salambo. So rook g3 and king h1. Then what do we do? Hello, Arnav on chess. Rook h3 and rook g8, but rook h3, bishop takes h3. Yes, this bishop is controlling h3. So maybe rook g2. What if knight f3 after king h1? Then white can give some checks here, so we have to be controlling that. So here, let's see, rook g3, king h1, maybe rook g2. This is interesting, because now we need, but still there is knight f5. Okay, knight f5, king f8, and now no check position, but knight can block with knight d6. Not sure about it. Knight f3, and then white plays king g2. How about rook h8 after king h1? So rook g3, king h1, and rook h8. So now knight f5 is not possible because knight takes f5 is going to be a mate. So white takes this, and then we have knight f5, and then the king goes to g2 and queen g3 mate. Yes, you're right, it's not Fischer. That must be it. So rook g3, king h1, and rook h8. So white can delay a little bit by playing knight c6 check here. So we take bc6, but after that there is no checks. But there is not mate in 4, right? So let's see, 1, then we play 2, then knight c6 check. It is already 3 move, and white can just take this rook, and there is no mate on number 4. We can play queen c6 there. So 1, we have 2, we have 3, but still, yes, I think you are right, queen c6 check, and then next move knight f5 is mate. Yes, that is very beautiful, queen c6, and white can play queen d5, and then knight f5 would be mate. Yes, this is beautiful. Okay, let's go with it. Rook g3 check, king h1, and then rook h8 here. This is what we were looking at. And if knight c6, we have queen c6 with a check. Let's go for it. Yes, well done, not Fisher. That was really, really good solving. To find queen c6. Rook h8 first and then queen c6 check. That was not at all easy. What would you call a good ELO for having played 1700 games over 4 years? Well, it depends how much you are spending on working on chess. So again, just playing the games is not training. You also need to analyze those games and spend time on learning other things, solving tactics, learning some endgames. So it depends what are you doing right now, how you're working on chess. Okay, so bishop b4, c5, bishop c5, king e6, and then queen h3, queen h3, f5, and queen f5 is made. So the knight can't move because the knight is pinned. So queen h3 check and f5 and queen takes f5. Okay, so those who are joining right now, we are solving mate in 4 puzzles. Thank you for the suggestion. Rook takes f4. There is no check on the black king. So we can go with such moves. Rook takes f4. So let's see, pawn takes f4, then we have queen h3 check. If king g5, we have f6 check. Then after king goes to g6, queen h7 would be made. So what else we have after rook f4 for white? g6 check, king h4. But g6 is also interesting, let's see. So g6, king h4, we have something like queen h8 check. And if king g4, we have queen h5 made. So king has to go to g5. And f6 check, king g6. Yeah, rook f4 is logical. But g6 is not working, right? g6. And even king g5, I think. King g5. And it's not clear. Let's go rook f4. Queen h3 check. Here f6 check. And queen h7 is the only mate. Not here because then the king goes to f5. The queen h7. GG. Rook c8, king g7, bishop f8 check, f6, then rook c6 check, and rook d6 will be made. So check, bishop f8, rook c6, and rook d6. Thanks for the follow. Knight f3, king h1, queen h3 actually does not work because in the end the rook is controlling h2. If you don't know its mate in 4, is it harder to figure out during the game? Well, of course it will be more difficult if you don't know its mate in 4, but still it's possible to find. So we start with a rook g2. So rook g2, knight f3, king h1 and then queen h3. That would be correct. So check. And now queen h3, queen takes h2. Come on, so far all green and we all solved correctly. It's nice to see all green. So queen h3, king h3, bishop f1 check, king h4, and then g5 is mate. Hello blind face. So where is mate in 4 here? So queen h3, maybe king h1. Okay, king h1. I keep all mine red. Yeah, king h1, then rook e1, and then that will be mate in 4, bishop g1, then rook g1 and queen f1 mate. Because if king takes the queen, there is mate in 3, not 4. Hello Billy. Thank you Anjali. So knight f5 or queen g5. Queen g5, king f8, knight g6, then pawn takes g6. Hello Anita. I think knight f5 maybe. So bishop f5 we have queen g5 check, bishop g6, queen f6 check, and then king moves and rook h8 is mate. So knight f5, king g6. And here we have to be careful. But I think still knight e7 check. Knight e7 check, then king g7, queen g5, king f8 and rook h8 is mate. Do you have highest puzzle rating on chess? Well, I don't think so. But there is no leaderboard to check. Okay, so what was last move? d6. So the white pawns are going this way. Rook h1, king g4, h5, king f4, and rook h1. Yes, Paresh, you're right. Well played. So rook h1, king g4, and h5, king f4, and rook h4 is mate. That was fast solving. Okay, knight a7 check, king b8, knight c6 check, then king a8 and queen d8. This is easy, right? Knight a7, knight c6 and queen d8. This we know, check, check, rook g1 and easy. Okay, so rook e1 check, king g2. We have knight e3 check. If the king goes to h3, queen h5 is mate. So knight e3, pawn takes e3, rook e2 check. And if king g1, queen f2 is mate. If king h3, queen h5 is mate. Hello Godchai, greetings from India. So rook e1 and knight e3. That's the pattern here. Yes, so many positions with that idea. When I see that G file, I just don't think, I just play. Oh, this is lovely. So rook c7 check, king b8, and then rook c8. And now if king takes c8, knight b6 is mate. So king has to go to a7, and then bishop b8 check, king a8, and knight b6 is mate. Yes. GG. This was very important move, rook c8. And no other discovered check works anyway because the bishop is under attack. So we have to find double checks of this. So check and bishop b8 and knight b6. Rook f7, we have king g8 and rook g7. King g7, then bishop f6 check, king f8 and queen h8 is mate. Knight g6, then knight takes g6. We need that knight to control g8 square. Okay, so this I think is queen h7, king h7, bishop f6, and then bishop h6, rook h6 check, king h6, and rook h1 will be made. Hope you had a great time in India. God time. Yes, bishop f6 and we sacrifice the rook. So queen h7, bishop f6 check, bishop h6, 6 and h1. Hello Sven. Greetings, one. Yes, rook f2, you're right, Anita. So rook f2, and we have knight e3 check. So the king has to go g1, queen d1, rook f1, and queen f1 is made. Well done. So first move has to be knight c6 anyway. No, there is also queen g8, sorry. There is also queen g8, king a7 and knight c8, something like this. Okay, let me first consider this move. So knight c6, king a8 is just mistake because queen a8 and mate. So knight c6, king will go to d8. After that we have queen g8, knight f8. And where is the mate? Oh, after that queen takes f8, king d7 and knight b8 is mate. Knight b8 is mate. So knight c6, king c8, queen g8 check, knight f8, queen takes f8, king d7, and in the end knight b8. I see a free rook. But don't go for material black because black is also going for queen f2. So knight c6 check, king c8, queen g8 check, knight f8, queen takes knight, and in the end we have knight b8. Wow, this is very pretty. So queen f6 check, we have rook g7, then queen f8 check, then rook g8 check, rook h7, king h7, and queen h6 is made. Today I'm not playing. This is a training series. Rook c8, queen e4, then rook c6, queen c6, king b8, and queen b7. Hello, Pablo. Hello, Satrang Academy. So what we have here, we have queen g3 or queen e3. But queen g3 after king f1, there is no check. So queen g3, king f1, and there is no check after that. So let's think about this. Now if king f1, knight g3 is made, so white has to go king e1. And what do we do after that? Oh, this is a queen e3, king e1, then we give, I think, maybe this check. But no. Okay, let me think. Let me think which check after that. knight d4, then king f1. Yes, even I like puzzle storm. But now the question is which discovered check to give. Maybe knight f4. So queen e3, we have king e1, maybe knight f4. And then if king goes to f1, we have queen e2 check and queen g2 is mate. And after knight f4, if the king goes to d1, we have queen e2, king c1 and knight d3. So knight f4 would be correct. Queen g3, king f1 and queen h2. But the king will go back then to f2. Hello, green runner. Queen b7, rook b7, rook a8 check, and rook b8. We have bishop a6 check, king c7, and then knight d5 is made. Knight f3, gf3, maybe. If gf3, we have queen h2, king. Queen h2 first, then king takes h2, knight f3, king h1. Yeah, we don't have rook to give a mate in the end. Okay, knight f3. So if gf3, we have queen h2 check, king f1, queen h1 check, king e2, and bishop f3 is mate. So that is okay. So knight f3, we have to think about king f1 now. f1. I think just queen h1, king e2, and knight d4 is mate. Queen h2, queen h1, and now the rook is pinned, so we just play bishop f3 and that's a mate. Bishop h3, yes. So bishop h3, and now the king has to go to g6. Then we have queen h5 check. Then king takes h5, bishop f5 check, bishop h2, and rook h2 will be made. Yes, bishop h3. And now the king is running from g6, so we have to stop that. That's why bishop f5. So bishop f5 and rook d. rook h8, king g4, then rook takes h3, king f4, rook h4 check, king e5, and rook e3 is made. Rook f8, white has rook d4 for that. So let's go rook h8. And now not this rook, because then white can just stop the checks with rook g1. So we take with this, with the idea to play this checkmate. And now the king is trying to escape from here, so we play rook h4 and rook e3 mate. Yeah, that was nice one. So rook a8, we have king a8, and then not queen c8, because after bishop b8, black defends everything. So after king a8, we have queen a4 check, king b8, and queen e8 check. And then queen d8 and queen d8 is made. Let's go. Rook a8 check, a8, and queen a4 is important move here. Queen a4, queen e8, and queen d8. And by the way, are you playing the guitar? No, I'm not playing the guitar. Queen e1 check, bishop f1, bishop c5, then after bishop e3, we take with the queen, king h1 and queen e3 is made. So queen e1 check, bishop f1, bishop c5, bishop e3, and not this one, because then king h1, and there is no mate after that, because the rook is guarding this bishop. So queen e3 and queen g1 is made. Yeah, 3200 and rising. Queen f8, king f8, rook c8, king e7, then rook e8 check, king e6, and bishop f4 is made. Hello, Samuel. Okay, let's go. Queen f8, king f8, then rook c8 check, 7, rook. Now the knight is pinned, so we have rook e8 check, and now not e5, because king escapes here and here, so we have bishop f4 that is made. How old were you when you started playing chess? Well, I started when I was 6 years old, and I won my first nationals when I was 7 years old. Greetings, Samuel. My FIDE rating is around 2250. I'm a woman international master, and I have 2 woman grandmaster norms. Hello, Enigma. Yes, I know you were with us. Rook a6 maybe, rook a6. Rook a6, rook a6, then queen d8 check. Now if king goes to b7, we have queen b8. So after queen d8, maybe king b5. No, I'm from Maharashtra. But after king b5, what do we do? queen b8 check maybe. So 1, 1, 2. Here then we have queen b8 check, that is 3, and then rook b6 and rook a5 checkmate will be 4. Yes, rook a6 and queen d8. Wait 1 second, we also have here rook a5, so which is correct? Rook a5 is also a checkmate. What puzzle rating you must have to be a GM? Well, you don't need puzzle rating to be GM. So rook a5 is also correct, right? Rook a5 check, and then rook a5 and queen a5 is made. And also queen b8, I think. Oops. Oh no, queen b8 is wrong because of rook b6. So queen b8 and rook b6, and there is no mate after that. So rook a5 is only correct move, and rook queen a5 is mate. Hello, Magnus. Hello, Dr. Millers. So queen f2, king h1 and bishop f1. That is what I'm thinking right now. And how can white defend this? So white will play rook f1 and then we take queen f1 and rook f1, that will be mate. There is no defense after rook. There is no defense after bishop f1. Because now we are threatening this mate, bishop takes g2 is mate. That is why queen a2, for example, does not work. So bishop f1 and takes. And in the end we have back rank mate. Can you give us some advice how we can improve our game and how we should think when we play? Well, for starters, work on chess every day. Have some discipline and try to work on tactics every day so that your calculations get stronger, and slowly work on endgames, which is very important. And if you're playing chess every day, if you like to play games online, try to analyze them afterwards so that you don't repeat your same mistake again. Rook h7, king h7 and rook h1. Yes, takes, check and mate, you're right. Rook h7, king h7, rook h1 and then bishop h6. And here we should play, I think, queen f7 and rook h6. So check, rook h1 and not rook h6 because king g7, and after that there is no check. So let's play queen f7 check, and now the queen is pinned, so we play. No, I'm not playing today. Yes, well done, takes check and mate. Okay, I will solve 2 more and then I will stop the stream. Have you played 4-player chess? Yes, I have tried it. I don't really like variants in chess, but I have tried 4-player chess, and if I have to pick another variant, I would select chess 960. Can you give your FIDE ID? Well, you can just search my name. It's easy to find me on FIDE. Homeless on Wi-Fi, welcome. Okay, last 2 positions for today. Your favorite players? Well, I do admire, of course, Vishy Anand. Then I like Gary Kasparov, then Bobby Fischer, Judy Polgar, and they have different styles of playing. So much to learn from different players. Rook h2, king h2, and queen e5. Wow, that's amazing. Rook h2, king h2, and queen e5 check. And now if rook g3, we have queen g3 check, king h1, and queen g2 is mate. So takes, queen e5, and king goes to here. Then we have queen h5 mate. Well done, takes, check, and mate. The queen e5 is important move here. And then, oh, okay, wait. So here we should play queen h5. I think pro players like you think and analyze a lot of moves in forwards. Well, yes, it's important to calculate, but start slow. Start if you're just starting to learn chess. Start slow. Start with one move ahead, two moves ahead, and slowly increase your calculations. Queen h5, queen h5, g6. Then we have bishop g6 check. Pawn takes and queen g6. Okay, bishop g6. And here, not queen h8 because bishop f8 blocks it. So queen g6 and queen f7. Thank you, Drunken Angel. Yes. So now I will be stopping here. And yes, I will be rating my channel on Twitch. And I will continue the stream on my channel. So let's see how many we solved today. I'm interested to see. We solved 74 puzzles on the stream today. Okay, so now I will be, those who are on Twitch, I will be rating on my channel. You're welcome there. And it was great to solve puzzles with all of you together in the chat. So if you want to follow my stream on Twitch, my username is ruchess27, which you can see above the stream on the left side. So this was a really positive score today, 74 puzzles and all correct. So well done everybody, and thank you for helping in the chat. So let's make a raid, and I will see you all in next streams on Chess. Thanks for the follow. Okay, so did the raid work? Hello, Drunken Angel. Yes, everybody, and remember, keep calm and play chess. So see you all next time, and until then, stay safe and keep enjoying chess. Bye bye. Hello everybody, welcome to my stream on Twitch, and welcome raiders. Thank you No Joke Chess for helping on the raid. Thanks for the follow.